Hi there, welcome back to another video. In this lecture, we will be looking at how to use print statement in the Raspberry Pi Pico using MicroPython. So first you have to connect your Raspberry Pi Pico to USB port, then open Tony IDE. Okay, go to Tools and make sure that under Options, Interpreter, make sure that you have selected Raspberry Pi Pico as the board. If it is not available, then you can go with the MicroPython generic option. So in my case, I have this option Raspberry Pi Pico. So I have to select that, then click on OK. You can see that it is already running right now. You can see under the shell, the MicroPython has loaded. Let's test with the print statement. So print in the Python or Python 3 syntax is very easy. Print, then in a single quotes or double quotes that you can fix, you can write whatever you wanted to print it. So if I wanted to print hello world, I can print like something like that, hello world. Okay, let's see. Now you can see hello world has printed right now. Same way we can also go with numbers to print. If I am giving the number 4, then number 4 is got printed. Okay, 4 plus 5 I am taking this time. So we are expecting a result will be 9. Let's see. So I am getting a 9. So the addition also happening inside the bracket. So this is very easy to use a print statement in the MicroPython. Then there are other methods we wanted to know. First method, if you have multiple inputs, then you can use something called a string concatenation. That is the one we want to use now. I am going to create a variable right now, something called the first name. Okay, and the name will be my name I am giving over here. Okay, now I can give the last name. Okay, so there are two variables created, one is first name and one is last name. So it is already loaded, that variables. If you wanted to see the actual variables over there in the screen itself, then you can go to view option. From there, here you will have a lot of options available. Okay, out of that you can go with the variables option. You see what will happen right now. You can see on the right side the variables are also showing. So we have first name. Okay, it is loaded with Harish Kondu. Last name it is loaded with the first name is loaded with the Harish and last name is loaded with the Kondu. So you can see that. Now let's see how we can use that along with the print statement. Print, I wanted to say that my name is Harish Kondu. For that I am using a comma. I am using single quote here. You may use double quotes also, not an issue. My name. Here I am writing my name is. Then what are the things have to come? So for that we are using string concatenation. For that I am putting a comma over here. Then what is the variable have to be come over there? Here I have to use some variable called first name. Then I need a little space. Then I can put a comma and last name. Okay, after that I can close this bracket. Yes, I forgot one thing. Here I should place one comma. Now what is happening? My name is print and using string concatenation it will load the first variable, then it will load the last name. So you see how the display. So my name is Harish Kondu. Okay, this is one method we can use the print statement. Next one we will be using something called a dot format method. Okay, same, but we will be using in another way. So let's see how we can use that. Same way, print. Okay, opening and closing brackets we can use. It should start with a single quote. My name is Then the magic starts. You have to keep an opening and closing curly brackets. There one of the variable will load. Okay. There mostly I am planning to give the first name. Then what I am going to do, I wanted to load the second or last name over here. Again I am giving opening and closing curly brackets. After that you can close the semicolon. Then you can use something called a dot format. Then in dot format we have to say what are the variables wanted to be load. Here I am going to load first name as the first and last name as the second. First name, clear. Then I can use a comma. Then I can give the next name, that is my last name. Okay, that's it. Let's see how it will run. Now you can see it's nicely applied over here, dot format function. And in the first area over here, first name is loaded, and second area over here, last name is loaded. Okay, then let's see how I can make it as Kondu Harish by using the dot format. That is the advantage of dot format. Print, opening and closing bracket. I can give single quotes or double quotes. My name is, okay, same way, clear. Then what should I give? In this case we will be taking index. So the first name over here, that will be considered as index 1 in the case from here, because I used here first name as the first and last name as the second. Okay, but indexing, this is considered as 0 and this will be considering as the index number 1. So I am going to do a small change. Here I am going to load Kondur, that means the last name. So that will be index number 1, and Harish, that will be index number 0. So like that I can give. Then what I can do, I can give something like that, dot format. Okay, same way, opening and closing brackets. Then I can pass the variables here. Okay, let's see what will happen now. There is last name. Okay, there is a mistake in the code. The name variable is starting with a small letter. Okay, that was a mistake. Let's see how it is going to load. Yes, it's working fine. Now you see here in the first position, there it will load the index number 1. And here in the second position, I said you have to load with the index number 0. So that's why Kondu came in this position and Harish came over in this position. So these are the methods we can use print function in the MicroPython by using Raspberry Pi Pico. Okay, see you on the next video. Thank you. Welcome back everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about type function. Connect your Raspberry Pi Pico with the laptop and open Tony IDE. Okay, my case, in the shell, MicroPython is loaded. The type function will helpful when you wanted to check what is the type of a particular variable in a program. That's very important in some cases. Let's see how we can use it. I'm creating a variable, something called a equal to, I'm going to pass a number. Okay, then I can check what is the type of it. Type, then you have to pass what is the variable we want to check. So I want to check what is the variable a. Now you can find that, okay, it's a class int. The variable which I have loaded here, it is an int type. Similarly, you can check for the other cases also. Let's look at in different way by checking other cases also. I'm giving a variable b, supposed to be equal to some numbers you can give, should be a floating number. Okay, then value of pi. Now C, for example, I have created different variables and loaded with different types of values. Okay, next step, I can call each and every variable and check what type it is. B is a float type, C is a string because it is high there, that's a string type, and D is a boolean. Similarly, you can check for the case of E also. So it's a tuple. So the same way we will be able to check what is the type of that variable. Definitely it will help in some part of a program. Thank you. See you on the next video. Welcome back everyone. In this video we will be discussing about an input function. If you wanted to get an input from any user, we can use input function. Let's start by creating a variable, and on that variable we can actually accept the input from a user. I'm going to get somebody's name. So the variable name I am creating it as name is equal to, the syntax is starting with input. Inside this opening and closing bracket, you can actually type what is the thing that can be displayed to the user. You can use double or single quotes. I'm giving the information to the user is enter your name. Okay, let me run this code. So it is asking to enter your name. Now I'm going to enter my name. Now what happened? Harish actually loaded into the variable called name. You can see on the right side there is a variable is created name. There Harish has been loaded. Now how we can access it? You have to use print statement and you have to call the variable name. Now it is accessed. Let's check the type of the variable. The type of the variable is a string type. Now let input a number. Syntax starting with the input. Then you can type the information what the user wanted to see. Okay, let's run this. It is asking to enter the age. I'm just giving the age right now. So now under the variable age has been loaded. Just print it. Now the age is loaded over here. Let's check the type of this variable age. Oops. The type of this variable is right now string. This is one problem which you can find by using input function. If you are receiving numbers or any other variables or any other inputs, that will be considered it as string by default if you are using an input function. Now the problem comes if I am taking any number as the input and I wanted to use that number for some calculations, then the input that is in a string and you wanted to multiply or something with another number, then the string and the integer or the float that cannot be multiplied. So in this case we have to use some another technique. Okay, I just created age new another variable. This time what I am going to use, I am going to use an int. Okay, int, if I am using it over here, whatever the input is coming, that will be converting into integer type. That's the technique we are going to use over here. Now you can use the same method, input, and what it is to be displayed to the user. Okay, enter your last year age. Let me enter. Okay, it is asking what is your last year age. That's just 30. So it has been updated. You can see over here new age is 30 right now. The variable new age is 30 right now. Let's check the type. Okay, now you are getting it as int. So use this technique if you are going to input any numbers, then in front of it use int. Okay, inside that you have to use the input function. That way you can convert any string into integer. Similarly you can convert into other possible cases. Thank you. See you on the next video. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be using help function. It's very important function, so you can know what are the modules available in the MicroPython. Because MicroPython for Pico board and the MicroPython for ESP8266 or ESP32, or you suppose use PyBoard, the modules, inbuilt modules available will be different. So you can check what are the inbuilt module and what are the functions available in the input modules. Let's start. The syntax is help. And you have to call modules inside this. For the first time, you have to use in the single quotes or in the double quotes. You have to say that modules. Now enter. You can see all the available modules in the Pico module or Pico board. Here you can see there is a thread function. It's very important. Then there is a module called machine. That is very important. You can see there are a lot of modules available here. Okay, OS module, UJSON, a lot of modules available. But compared to ESP32, the number of modules are less. Now we can check one of the module and what are the functions available inside the module. For that, first you have to import the module which you wanted to see. I'm going to import the module called machine. This is the command to import machine module. Now the module called machine has been imported. Now you can check what are the functions available inside the machine. Command same help. If you imported any of the modules, now you wanted to see the functions, you don't need to put in the codes. You have to just type the module which you wanted to know its details. I just entered the module and just see what is the functions available. You can see the functions available with the module called machines are these. Can have a reset, bootloader, frequency, idle, light sleep. Then mostly we will be discussing about something called ADC, I2C, then SPI, PWM, pin, then UZART, then watchdog timer. So these are the main things mostly we will use in our project. You can also check with the other one. Let's start with something called a thread. I wanted to know what are the modules in the thread. Let me copy it. So that will be easy for me. First, you have to import the module. Enter. The module has been imported right now. Then use the help command. So under the thread, these are the functions available. You can see over here. Okay, it's very important here. It is start new thread. This is the one mostly we use. Okay, see you on the next video. Thank you. Welcome back everyone. In this video, we will be checking at conditional statements. Here we will be discussing mainly about if, else and elif. Conditional statements we are mostly using if there is condition satisfied, then it will do one set of tasks. If that condition is not satisfied, it will do another set of tasks. If you have multiple conditions are there, based upon that, it will respond. For that, we use conditional statements. Okay, let's start now. I'm going to create a variable. The variable ref value is loaded with a number 4. Till now we used shell, so directly this is we actually called a REPL. We are getting the instant response. In this project what we are going to do, we are going to save this code in the MicroPython or in the device which you have, maybe your laptop or desktop. Also you can load into the MicroPython, so you can plan accordingly. Now how you can save it into the device, that also we will check along with this project. I am going to get an input from a user. It is going to save in a variable called value. It's a number is going to be inputted. That's why I wanted to convert it into an integer. For that I am using int first. Then I can give the input function. Input. Now what is the user want to see the message? So the message will get to the user is enter a number from 0 to 5 range. Next step, we want to check what is the user input value, and if it is satisfied, based upon that we have to work on it. If value which is equal to 1 equal, that is for assigning, 2 equal is for checking. Now if suppose the value which is equal to ref value here it is 4, then you have to put a full colon over here, enter. It's very important to check there is an indentation. This space is 4 spaces or 1 tab. The indentation is very important in the case of Python programming. There will not have an opening and closing brackets as we learn in the C or C++ program or some another programming language. Instead of that, in the Python, they use mostly this indentation. Now, once you have given the full colon, it automatically comes on the indentation position. Make sure that indentation is properly given. Now, if suppose the value is equal to ref value, I wanted to print the value is matched. Clear? If it is not the ref value, that means the value isn't matched with the ref value, then I will have another condition. For that, I have to come from the indentation on the same line where the if started. You can use backspace. Then I can write else. Else means if suppose any other case other than 4 in our program right now, you can print something else. value is not matched. Okay, this is the program. It's very easy program. Then let's save this program and run this program. For that, you can click on here, this green button over here, or you can press F5 to run this program. So first time if you run the program, it will ask where you wanted to save. So I'm going to run this. Now it is asking where I wanted to save this program. I have two options. Maybe I can save into the computer, or maybe I can save into the Raspberry Pi Pico. Let's see how we can save into the Raspberry Pi Pico in this time. So I'm clicking over here, Raspberry Pi Pico. Now already have two programs inside my Raspberry Pi Pico, which I already tested for USAT and all. Then I have to give a name for this. The name is conditional statements. And make sure that you are giving an extension that is .py, which means it is a Python program, and click on OK. Then the program will run in the MicroPython device, that is Raspberry Pi Pico. Let's see. Now the program is running. Let me enter a number right now, 4. Then see what will happen. I am getting a response like value is matched. That means the value and the reference value is matched right now. Let me refresh. For that, you can maybe use stop button over here. There is no direct reset button in the Raspberry Pi Pico. For that, we have to use some other circuits. In this case, I am just using this stop and restart. Okay. Then I can run this again. This time I am giving another number which is not in our range. That will be number 2. Now you are getting an output like value is not matched. So this is the easy method. Here we can use the conditional statements if and else. Now there is a possibility that there is not only a one single condition that it is number 4. There can have a possibility that can be number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then we want to check all the conditions and it wanted to show which number you have entered. For that I am going to create another program. Same way we can start. I'm just copying it. Till here I am copying it. I'm just pasting it over here. Okay, the user will give a number that will be saved in a variable called a value. Now it is checking the value is supposed to be equal to ref value. If the value is equal to ref value, we know that it will print values matched that we have done for the last time. Now I'm going to do a small change over here. I'm just removing this portion. Here I wanted to check what is the value is entered by the user, and it wanted to be get identified. Then it wanted to show that okay, you have entered this value or that value. Now just start if value. We actually don't need something called ref value for this program. We can just remove that. This case value equal to. Suppose I am giving a value 0 full colon. Then if the value is 0, then what should I print? Print single quote or double quote you can give. Now if the user entered a value supposed to be 0, then what is happening? It will be taking a task and it is detected and it is showing that the value will be entered is 0. Then we have multiple cases 0, 1, 2, 3 till 5 there is a conditions, right? In that case we have to use something called if. Okay, then you have to give the next condition here. Next condition. This time you wanted to print the number is 1. Okay, like that I can continue for the remaining numbers. So I'm just copying it and repeating it for the other numbers to save some time. Make sure the indentation is very important in this case. Here it is checking for all the possible conditions starting from 0 to 5. Then we will also have another possibility that the user entered which is not a number, which is not a range from 0 to 5. So if it is not from this range, we can use something called else. You can say now user will get an information that enter a valid number. Let's run this program and see how it is working. Same way, first time if you are going to run this program, you can click over here or you can press F5. Then it will ask where you wanted to save this. This time I am going to save in my computer. So you can click on this computer. So temporarily I am going to create a folder in the desktop. Better you have to create a folder somewhere in an internal folder, somewhere like a D or E folders. Okay, I just created a folder, MicroPython Pico folder. Let me open it. And inside that I am going to save this code. So this is the condition statement 2. Okay. Give with extension py and save. Let's see what will happen here. It is asking, there is no error in this program. It is asking for the user to enter a value. I'm going to give the value 0 this time. So it is detected and it is giving entered value is 0. Similarly, if I wanted to run the same program, it's very easy. You have to again click on this green option over here, or you can press F5. Again, it is asking, let me enter a number somewhere else, like a 3. So it is nicely detected number 3 over here. Again, I am running this code. This time it is, I am going to give another range. Let be somewhere 10. Now enter a valid number. So all the possible conditions you can check like that. I hope it is clear for you. Thank you. See you on the next video. In this video, we will be discussing about the concept called a while loop. Condition satisfy, then only that loop will work. Until and unless it will wait for the condition to satisfy. That is the beauty of while loop. Mostly in Python programming, we are using while loop to get an infinite loop. Let's see how we can start with. For that, I wanted to print something with a delay. So there is a time function we wanted to use. So first I have to import the sleep module from the time function. The step is from. Then we have to say that which module you wanted to use. There is a module called a time. Somewhere we use uTime also. From that, what you wanted to import? I wanted to import something called sleep. Better not to import time only, because inside the time module there are a lot of functions available. So if you import only the time module, then the program, whenever it is running, it have more because all the functions has been loaded there. Better you have to import what are the functions you needed from each and every module. Here I imported a function called sleep from the module called time. Some programs you may use uTime also. Time also will work. Okay, just go to the next step. To create while, you have to use the syntax while. Then the while loop, I wanted to make it true always. Then only I will get an infinite loop. This is the one mostly we use. You have to use a boolean called true, then full colon. Indentation is very important. There is sufficient indentation is here. Then I wanted to print hellos. Print. So here it is going to print hello world. So here I wanted to give a small gap to print each and every time the hello world. For that I can use sleep. Then here the time I am giving in seconds. So if I want a 1 second gap, then I can give in the value as 1 over here. Half second you can give in 0.5 like that. Now here it is while is always true. That's the way here it is I have mentioned. Now it is always loop. It will work as an infinite loop. Then what will happen? It started printing hello world. Then wait, then again it will check it is always true, then again it will print hello world, just like that. Okay, each and every second it will start printing hello world. Let's see, we will be uploading the code into the MicroPython. It is asking where you wanted to save it. I am saving in the computer. I can go to my desktop, which I created a temporary folder, and here I can save. .py, you have to give us the extension and save it. Same time it will start working. You can see in the shell or in the REPL it started printing hello world. Now we can't see it's continuously started printing. Now in between, suppose you wanted to interrupt for this print or the program, there is a keyword shortcut Ctrl+C. If you press Ctrl+C, then what will happen? The program will stop there. So you can give, by using a keyboard, you can give an interrupt on the program. Let me run 1 second. You can see started printing. Somewhere you identified that your program is wrong or you wanted to stop it there, and you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+C to give an interrupt. Okay, now it is got interrupted. Now the program is not running in the MicroPython. Then I wanted to soft reboot our Raspberry Pi Pico. There is a keyboard shortcut available, that is Ctrl+D. So if I press Ctrl+D, you see that it went to soft reboot. So it is started a new chaverings over here. So keep remember these two shortcuts, Ctrl+C for keyword interrupt and Ctrl+D for soft reboot. Thank you. See you on the next video. Welcome back everyone. In this video, we will be learning about for loop with a function called a range. If you wanted to run a program for a certain number of times, then we can use for loop. Majority of the times we only use range. That's why I am going to explain about the range in the for loop. It's very easy to start for. Then you have to say any variable name. It can be x, I, j or any name you can also give. This time I am just giving like a x. Then in function is range. So the range is I am giving, okay, if I wanted to print something like 10 times, then I can just give number 10, then give full colon over here. Then what we wanted to print? I wanted to print the value of x. Print. Now here what happens? Each and every time it actually internally increment and the value of x will be get printed. That's why the range function will do. Okay, let's see how it is going to work. I have already saved this file for.py. Let me run this. You can see under the shell or the REPL, it started printing 0. So it's starting from 0 and it's ending at a 9. That's very important. The value whichever you are entering here, that will be excluded. So it started from 0 and ended at 9. That means 10 times the loop has been repeated. This is a way you can use for loop with a range. Then we can also use the same in another method. That is the one I am going to explain right now. Here you have a specific number. Here by default it is started with 0, but you wanted to make sure that okay, you wanted to start with a number, then that way also you can use for loop. For, and this time I am using another variables just like a y in range. Then we have to say what is the first number have to start. If I wanted to start with a number 4, then I can give 4. After that give comma, and what is the ending number? If I give 10, it's very important that 10 will be excluded. So I am expecting the range, it will start from 4 and it will go up to 9. That's the way you have to think about it. Let's see, we can print it. Don't forget the full colon over there. Print the value of x. Okay, in this program, first this part will work, then this part will work. Okay, let me run this. The first part is worked, then it is going from there to okay, the problem was I just given instead of y I just called x. That was the mistake. So let me run once again. You can see that it started from 0 and it's reached up to 9. Then you can see it is a starting number. So you can see over here also this is the starting number. And the other number which you have entered, that will be excluded. That means you can't see 10 over here, that is excluded, then it is reaching up to 9. So this is the way you can fix from one number to how many times you wanted to repeat it. Okay. Similarly, if you wanted to, here by default it is incremented by 1. Now the increment value also you wanted to change. That you can use by the range function. We will discuss that now. For I'm using z. Same way, the starting number, this time I am using a starting number 2, and the last number, that number will be excluded. Let me give somewhere 18, comma. Next one, what is the increment you want? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, then -4, -3, whatever the value you can give over here. This time I am going to give an increment of 3. So it start with 2, then the increment is 3, then the next number I am expecting that 2 plus 3, 5 will be the next number, then 5 plus 3, 8 will be the next number. Like that I am expecting. But the last number will not be 18. So when it is incrementing, finally the number which is less than 18 or if it is reaching 17 somewhere, it will be get print. Okay, let's see how it is coming. Don't forget to put the full colon. Print. Okay, the value you wanted to print over here is the variable z. Okay, let's run this code. The first part of the code, that is printing from 0 to 9, is printed till over here. Then second part of the code, that is y variable, that is going to print from 4 to 9. Okay, this part. Now the third part of the program, that is for the z case, it is starting from 2. Then it is incremented by 3, that is you got 5, then 8, 11, 14 and 17. So this is the last possible value because 18 is excluded. So it will go up to 70. I hope it is clear. Most of the programs we need to use range function along with for. Thank you. See you on next video. Welcome back. In this video, we will be discussing about functions. You are going to create your own functions now. Let's check with one function which we are creating. This time I am using directly REPL. Then we can go and write a code on main area. The keyword for creating the function is def. Then you have to give a function name. Any name you can give. This is a sample one. Then opening and closing bracket. Give a full colon over here. This is the way you have to start a function. Just enter. Then whenever you call this function, what the things have to run. Okay, what are the statements wanted to run? You can write under this part. Okay, I wanted to just print something. So just I'm using print statement over here. Now the function is created and the function will print hi there. Okay, let me run this code. So I can enter and it will go to the same cheverings over there and it's came to the main REPL part. Now how I can call this? Calling is very easy one. You just call the name of the function sample. That's it. Then you enter, then it will print hi there. And see, this is a very easy method how you can create a function. So starting with the keyword def, then function name, full colon, then what are the statements. Calling the function, simply call the function name and opening and a closing bracket, then that function will run. So let me copy the same and let me run it over here. But this time I'll be using more options. This time what I am going to do, I wanted to add two numbers by using a function. So the numbers can be anything. I wanted to use that blueprint for anywhere I wanted to use. That's the beauty in the function. Let's start by adding two numbers. Keyword is starting with the def. Then the function name. This time I am going to add two numbers. So I am giving a function name, it has add. You can give full name, it's not an issue. Here what I wanted to do, I wanted to pass two variables. Here I am going to add two numbers. That's why I need to pass two variables. The variable name you can give anything, it's not an issue. This time I am just giving the variables A and B. Two variables, right? Then you have to give a full colon, enter. Automatically it will maintain the indentation. Make sure that the indentation is clear and correct. Now I wanted to add two numbers which will be going to replace A and B in the next part of the program. And that will be added and it will be saved in another variable. Result. Okay, I can give add result. Okay. This is the result of add, which is equal to A plus B. That's the only thing. Then what I wanted to do, I wanted to print it. So I am saying that print. You know how to use it. The sum is, put a comma, then call the variable name. Variable is add. Okay, let me upload this code. Here I named it as function.py. It's must. You have to give a py extension. Just save it. Now the program is run very well, but you are not getting any output. Why? Because we haven't called this function. I can call that function directly in the REPL, or I can in the next step I can actually use it over here as the next line. Let it be. I can directly call it from the REPL right now. Function is add. Then there are two variables. That variable will be replaced with the numbers you wanted to add here. If I wanted to add two numbers, let it be, I wanted to add number 9. Okay. Then you have to give a comma. Yeah, I wanted to use a number somewhere 25. So in this case, the A will be replaced with the number 9 and B will be replaced with the number 25. And that number will be passed internally and it will be added, and that result will be going to save in the add result. The next step in the line, that is going to be printed. Okay, let's see what will be the result. I got the result over here. The sum is 34. So 25 plus 9 or 9 plus 25, the result will be 34. Now in the program itself, I can call this function. Make sure that you are not inside the function. Then call the function name. And here you can pass any other two numbers that will be checking on the next step. I have given 4, 6. So I will be expecting the result will be 10. Let me run this. You can see that the sum is 10. Okay, because the value is loaded over art result. Now we can also use in another way. That is one I am going to explain in this case. I'm starting with a function called def. This time I wanted to get an output like multiplication value. So the function name I am giving it as mul, that is for multiplication. Here I am only passing one number. So I can give only one variable. Just let it be x. Okay. Full colon. This time I wanted to return the value. For that we can use a keyword called return. Now what we wanted to return in this case, I wanted to return the double of the value which you are entering over here. So how you will get the double? Whatever the value over here, that's suppose multiplied with 2. That value can be written. Now whenever I call this function, make sure that you will be on the covering outside the indentation. I can call this function by mul. Then what is the number you want to get it double? Let it be 12. Now what will happen? The 12 will pass over here in the x position. Then that x will be multiplied with 2. Then the return will give back the resultant value back to this x. Okay, let's see how it will work. Let me run this code. Okay, here the things are worked, but it is not printed. So I have to put one more statement here. It is return the value. Okay, if I am calling over here, maybe I can access it. But instead of that, I wanted to print. So what should I do? I have to use print statement also in this case. Okay, let me run this time. Yeah, you can see over here, sum is 10. That is, this part is working right now. And this part you will be getting a result that is 24. 24 is the 2 times of 12, right? You can also change with some another number over here. I can directly call this function in the REPL also. Let's see, mul. I need the double of like a 39. So I'm getting the double of 39, that is 78. So this is the way also you can use it. I hope it is clear. See you on the next video.